Man, how come we don't have Zeppar and Furfur's profiles yet? And this is weird. I should have gotten them by now. In my eyes. Does Erika have like anything new here? Whether she wins or loses, this will be the last game. There will be no further use for her. Well, okay. I've actually consulted with my good old Goetia, haven't busted that bad boy in a while, and I've read Zeppar and Furfur's profiles. Not much going on there. I mean, it does say for Zeppar that he can make women love men. And similar case can be said for Furfur in Goetia, although that's something that a lot of demons can do from what I've read in the past. It does also say for Furfur that she only speaks the untruth. Unless she's ordered to speak the truth, or he's put in a triangle. I don't know what that triangle even means, if we're talking about a literal triangle, like a magic symbol triangle or something like that. And I don't know if this kind of thing is the same case for our Furfur right over here. Like, unless they're gonna mention something along the lines of how Furfur only speaks untruths and such. Unless we're told about that, I don't think that we're gonna go with that kind of mentality from now on. It's something that I read in the Goetia and such, so yeah, there's that. After all, Shannon already told him what would happen next.
契約の悪魔たちよ、久しぶりであるな。ゼパル、それにフルフル。
Okay, there you go.
ああ、お久しぶり。君は相変わらず元気そうだね。
それにしても可愛らしい妹君。
Okay, I think then now we can check this stuff. One that is 72 demons, presides over love and tests other through trials. Zeppar grants the contractor undying legs. Wait, did I just say undying legs? Undying immeasurable defensive power. Defensive power. Ooh. It does remind me of when we've seen Shannon and Kanon use their powers. Kanon can use like his laser sword, and Shannon is more on the defensive side with her shield, so... This gives the contractor the courage not to dread any of love's wounds. A hunter of love who loves to prey upon passive men. He is of a different gender than Furfur. Presides over love and tests other love, grants the contractor endless, inexhaustible offensive power. This gives the contractor the courage not to fear any of love's barriers. A trainer of love who teaches passive men the taste of flesh. He's of a different gender than Zeppar. Huh. Like, if I'm to think of Shannon and Kanon, there is a little bit of a mix between them. Like, you know, Zeppar has defensive power. And is also a hunter, so she has both the defensive capabilities of Shannon and she hunts in similar fashion to how you would use like a knife, like Kanon's sword, like laser sword. I'm just gonna call it laser sword. However, she has offensive power like Kanon, but she teaches. She gives the courage not to fear any of love's barriers. And other than that, I feel like there is more meaning behind this, but it's probably something that I'm gonna have to process myself. And they are of different gender, it seems. Zeppar is of a different gender than Furfur. And Furfur is a different gender than Zeppar. Leg.
潤んだそのみずみずしい瞳は水蜜糖の味がするんじゃないかしら。
どうでしょうか。
I swear, like, girls on the magical side really love to wear whatever they are actually called. I wouldn't be able to tell you what they're called. They do like to show their legs, that's for sure. Like, is this actually a thing for young servants slash demons on the magical side? I mean, what is going on over here? Like, what are your schools teaching you? Like, what are your schools uniforms such? Like, they do have like some common things when it comes to what you guys are wearing. Zeppar Furfur lashed onto battle from either side, wearing strange smiles. Each movement they made was exaggerated yet polished, as though they were acting out a play.
それくらいにしておけ、契約の悪魔たちよ。その悪ふざけも今宵限りで見納めとはな。寂しいものだ。見納めとは？
僕たちのよりしろのブローチはもう壊されてしまったからね。
つまりこれでもお役御免というわけ。はあ、今まで本当に楽しかったわ、ベアトリーチェ。
でも契約時の取り決めでね、最後の別れにもう一度だけ力を貸さねばならないと決まっていたのさ。
だからこれが正真正銘最後の奇跡。
愛の奇跡は一度で十分だって、永久の愛に二度目は不要なのだから。
そういうわけだ。愛し合う男女たちよ。ここに集いしは奇跡なくして恋を成就できぬ呪われし者たち。その奇跡を与える黄金蝶のブローチの力は泣こうがわめこうが今宵限り最後のチャンス。それは一組のつがいにしか与えられぬ。
僕は負けないよ。
お互い頑張ろうね。
Alrighty then. I'll be wishing you kids the very best. I'm gonna be cheering for you, first and foremost. But secondly, I'm also gonna be on the side over here, and I'm also gonna be judging. I'm not, as I said before, I'm not an expert in relationships. I'm still learning myself, and I'm probably gonna be learning some more stuff even after the end of all this. Like, the end of the entire story, that is. How to view your relationships and all that, but I'm gonna be watching you. I'm gonna be watching you all four. I'm gonna be judging you. I'm gonna write in my notepad right over here and see how you guys are doing. Shannon and Kanon exchange a serious gaze. Maybe I will even give like some scores down the line for how you're doing over there. In my eyes, both had already readied themselves to fight for the sake of their love's success.
よくわからねえけどよ。おかしな悪魔の力なんて世話になる気はねえぜ。
And Jessica was finally starting to figure out the direction things were headed. These demons were probably planning to pit her and Kanon against George and Shan.
はっきり言わせてもらうが、余計なお世話だぜ。私とカノン君の仲は私とカノン君でどうにかする。怪しげな悪魔の世話になんかなる義理はさらさらねえぜ。お嬢様、聞いてください。
Okay. So, like, you know, from the perspective of a human who doesn't have much to do with magic and demons, at face value, I think that it is nice in the sense that, hey, this is our relationship. We should be focusing on our relationship, and we are gonna grow in our relationship ourselves, and they don't need anybody's help. Which, it is a good mentality, you know. But in our case, in Umineko's case, I think that you should listen to this, Jessica. I think that you should listen to what is going on over here and see about doing this accordingly.
この試練を乗り越えなければ僕たちは結ばれないのです。
ジェシカ、受け入れよ。それが家具の身で人間と結ばれようと願う身の程知らずに課せられる唯一の試練なのである。
家具とか人間とか勝手に言ってろってんだ。私たちには何の関係もねえぜ。
お嬢様にはまだ話していないの？
どう説明すればいいかわからなくて。カノン君もシャノンもジョージ兄さんもどうしてこんなうさんくさい話に耳を貸してんだ。人の恋路を邪魔するやつは馬に蹴られて死ねって決まってんだぜ。なんで悪魔たちに認められなきゃならねえんだよ。余計なお世話だぜ。
I mean, again, from a human's perspective, without the magical stuff going on, it is a fair mentality. You don't need others' approval for your love and such, but again, maybe you should listen to what is going on over here. Just saying. Like, I understand that you're being confused right over here, which is normal and such, but I think that you should first and foremost calm down over here and see how things are gonna go over here in order for your relationship with George. Wait. Ew. What the fuck did I just say? In your relationship with Kanon, in order for your relationship with him to work. Because, well, as much as you right now are not in agreement with what is going on over here, Kanon, this matters to Kanon a lot. So you should take that into consideration, Jessica. Yeah, I think that this is like a first mistake going on over here. Like, you should take into consideration that this may be really important to Kanon, so you should listen to this.
さては困ったわからず屋がいたものよ。このままゲームを始めてもよいが、それではフェアとは言えぬな。
説明してあげてもいいのではないでしょうか。私にもよくわかりません。
Yeah, I mean, Kanon, why? Like, okay, I assume that it's a little bit difficult for you to explain it to Jessica, but can you try right now?
ジェシカさんとカノンさんの恋に何か問題でもあるというのですか？
やれやれ。どうやら君も君たちも何も分かっていないようだね。
私たちに祝福されれば二人の恋をゆっくり育むことができるの。うさんくさい悪魔も何にも関係ないわ。
でももし僕らに祝福されなければ君たちの恋路は消えてなくなり、枯れてしおれて消えてしまう。
なんでそんなことが言えるんだよ。
運命だから。認めないのも自由、抗わないことだって自由。
抗わないとどうなるんですか？
恋路が終わると抽象的な言い方では納得すまい。はて、どう説明すればそなたの運命の袋小路を説明できるのか。
後ろ宮ジェシカ、君が信じているよりはるかに君たちの未来は善と多難。
魔法の奇跡が得られなかったなら必ずや二人に災いが訪れるの。
そしてそれがかぶれ二人を破綻させる。
Okay. Again, you guys... You're not really helping Jessica whatsoever in understanding this. Like, from her perspective, you guys are talking vaguely and such. I mean... like, I'm a perfect example of that, like, early on. I mean, even now, you are speaking vaguely from time to time. Reason why I have to think about this stuff. But the point is, how about you go a little bit more easy on Jessica and try to make her understand what is going on over here? Like, none of this poetic waxing here a little bit? Just saying.
わらわもその過程を詳細に語るほど無粋ではない。しかしジェシカが信じぬというなら破綻の最後だけ語ろう。カノンは使用人をやめこの島を去る。永遠にな。
君は島を出て思い人を探す旅に出るだろうね。しかしそれは決して報われない。
Well, that's... okay. Again, the Rokenjima Massacre. I forgot that. I forgot that there is a time limit on this. Like... But you're speaking as if she's gonna be able to leave the island herself after this and she's gonna search. Like, how can you say that she's not gonna find her love after this? Like, if she doesn't succeed with Kanon. How can you say that?
そうしてあなたは嘆いて恨むの。
誰を？
あなたを。
僕をかい？いいえ、今のあなたを。
Though, with a dramatic gesture, the two of them pointed at Jessica. They were saying that if she passed this by, it will be herself who would regret it later. Well, that is true.
何を言ってやがる。
思い人を失ったあなたはその時気づくわ。思いを遂げる試練を逃げたあの時の自分が憎いって。
そうさ、僕たちは未来の君からのメッセンジャー。どうか今のこの瞬間を君の恋に真剣になって戦いに臨んでほしい。
もしあなたが未来の自分のメッセージに耳を貸さないならば、
王を飲み込む愚かな蛇はそのままどんどん飲み込み続け、
永遠の苦悩の輪廻は自らを飲み込み消えるのみよ。
わけがわからない。
Jessica's confusion showed up on her face as anger. However, a memory of something she had heard a long time ago surfaced in the back of her mind. Unlike Nesan, I don't plan on working here for many years. After just a few years, or possibly, if Nesan ever decides to stop working here, I think I'll stop working too.
カノン君。
そなたが魔法の奇跡をシャノンとジョージに譲るなら、二人は結ばれ島を出る。そしてカノンもまた島を出る。それは避け得ぬ運命なのだ。
では魔法の奇跡を得られたなら。
無論カノンは島にとどまり、いつまでもジェシカのそばにいる。ジェシカが望んだ音楽活動とやらも一緒に始められるだろう。
Okay, well there you go. That's I think that is what Jessica needed to hear in order to understand this, I think. Less vagueness and more upper language.
それ以上の関係にどう進むかは愛し合う二人の問題だ。
True.
ジェシカが望むように二人だけでゆっくりと関係を育めばよい。
ただその場合は私とジョージさんもまた結ばれません。
僕たちは自らの幸せと未来をかけて戦わねばならぬ運命なんです。ふざけるなよ。なんだよそれ。つまり自分たちが結ばれれば必ず相手は破綻するのか。そんな悪魔のゲーム冗談じゃねえぜ。
間違えるな。そなたらが奪い合うゲームではない。黄金蝶のブローチの力がなければそもそもどちらの恋も実らぬ運命なのだ。
誰がそんな運命を決めたんだよ。
恋を許されぬ家具に恋したそなたらの罪ゆえにだ。カノンはそなたにはっきりと家具は恋をする資格がないと拒んだはず。そなたはそれを承知でカノンを恋の相手に選んだのだ。知らぬとは言わせぬ。
Well, as vague as it may seem to Jessica, I think that she was told by Kanon this at some point in the past. In that sense, yeah. Jessica cannot escape from this by saying that she didn't know or anything like that. You can say that you didn't understand why that is the case, like why the other pair has to split up for your relationship to work, or vice versa. I mean, I have my ideas why that is the case, why only one pair is gonna end up successful out of this, but it's not like Jessica has reached that kind of conclusion. Hell, maybe my theory is not right. So, who's to say that I truly understand why one pair has to fail and the other has to succeed, when you can just have both pairs succeed and you will be a happy ending in that case. But I guess if you are to have like a legit good explanation for it, if you are to find that good explanation for it, then yeah, one relationship will work and the other will not. It is up to Jessica to figure that out. But as of now, in the state that Jessica is in, well, of course, she's gonna have her objections about this. She's gonna be skeptical about why it has to be this way, so... Again, you guys do also have to take into account what Jessica is going through here, so... Again, it's very complicated. Though she couldn't accept any of it, Jessica wasn't able to argue back. Then, George spoke up with that soft tone that he always used to smooth things over. However, his expression was still ruthlessly serious.
ジェシカちゃん、こう考えないかい？
考えるって何を？
僕はね、シャノンを愛している。どんな試練も障害も全て乗り越えて結ばれようという覚悟を持っているよ。君はどうだい？
そりゃ私だって多少のことでへこたれるほど嫌なつもりはねえぜ。
うん。ならそういうことだよ。僕たちは今試されているのさ。僕たちがどれだけ気持ちの強さを示せるかということをね。
ジョージ兄さんはこのわけのわからない話で納得してるっていうのかよ。
納得なんか必要ないよ。僕はシャノンと結ばれるために全ての試練と障害と戦うことを婚約指輪にかけて誓った。どんな理不尽な到底理解できない試練であっても僕に退くという選択肢はないね。
George spoke clearly, then looked at Jessica with a cold gaze. Well, it is interesting on George's side. He is accepting the insanity of the situation. Like, of course, he understands that he has to overcome like any obstacles. but it kind of makes me question if he's really thinking about why this is happening. Rather, it doesn't matter to him why this is happening, as long as he's going through it and proving himself, no matter how insane it is. That's what matters to him. Which, on one hand, it is good. On the other hand, it is questionable. It kind of makes you think. Actually, yeah. Like, if we were to go with the test that we had in episode 4, right here it is a similar situation where, to George, it doesn't matter what will happen to the other pair, as long as his pair is gonna prove successful. Jessica over here, she doesn't like the idea that the other pair will have to fail. Like, you know. But I guess in George's case, he is accepting of this situation over here because, I mean, it could be possible that he doesn't care as long as his relationship will work. Which is, again, definitely not good, if I am to think of it that way. Still, the good side of things is that it does seem that he has talked with Shannon about this prior. Because Kanon, he didn't know how to explain this to Jessica before. Whereas it seems that George gets it, like, right from the get-go right over here. Shannon explained this to George in a magical way. And George is like, okay, I am gonna go forward with this. Which is good. We haven't seen them talk about magic at this point. Because remember when I was discussing, like, George and Shannon's dialogue and how we didn't see George talk to Shannon about magic. Like, Shannon was talking about magic and, well, George didn't think much of it at the time. Like, for example, at the beach and such. But here, it does seem that we're going in a good path, in the sense that they have talked about magic, and George is accepting of the situation, that he will do whatever it takes to make his relationship work, including in a magic way. So I think that's good. So there is a good thing to George right over here, and there's also a bad thing to George right over here. Similarly to Jessica. There is a good thing to Jessica in the sense that he does care about the situation, and more than likely she doesn't want the other pair to lose and such. She thinks of others outside of her relationship as well, which is good. The bad thing is that Jessica is being a little bit impatient right over here, and she's not understanding this. So yeah, there's definitely something going on over here. By now, Jessica almost understood. If she kept on grumbling and refusing this demon's trial, the game between the two groups would automatically end with her defeat by default. Yeah, I think that's true. Like, Jessica, you don't understand at this point. And, you know, I in my eyes, it's perfectly normal for you to be angry and such. But I think that the best move for you would be to just go with it for right now. And eventually, as you go through this test, you're gonna be able to figure out what is going on over here. Like, what is the meaning behind all this as you fight through this. So I think that the best decision for you would be to accept it for right now, even if you don't fully comprehend what is going on. In other words, George and Shannon would win. Then they would gain the miracle of magic. Their love would be completed. And Jessica and Kanon would stay apart, with Kanon eventually leaving the island and never seeing her again.
僕にとって君がこの試練を辞退してくれるならこれほど嬉しいことはないんだ。君と戦わなくて済むからね。そして 君のカノン君への思いはその程度のものだったんだねと蔑むことになるんだ。
Boof. I mean, how can you say that about her, George? It seems as though George spoke ruthlessly, but he was actually being exceptionally fair. If it came to a loss by default, Jessica would never be able to clear away her lingering regrets. I don't know. I mean, George has spoken ruthlessly, and what he says is true, but I don't know. I don't know if I can say that he spoke it from the heart or he spoke it with a good heart there. And that will leave a bad aftertaste even for George.
僕たちはたった一つの奇跡をめぐって正々堂々と戦わなくちゃならない。その結果、仮に僕が敗れたとしても、互いがベストを尽くして戦った上での結果なら諦めがつく。
Okay, that's good.
そしてだからこそ心の底から相手を祝福できるんだ。
Okay. If this comes from your heart, what you're saying right over here, then that's good, George.
ジョージの覚悟、なかなかのものよ。
そこまで言われて。
君は逃げ出すのかい？
The two demons giggled and challenged her. Of course, George didn't laugh, but he too challenged her with cold eyes.
シャノンは
お許しください、お嬢様。私はジョージさんと結ばれるために一歩たりとも引かない覚悟です。たとえ私の思いを貫くことがお嬢様の恋路を閉ざすことを知っていようとも。
Shannon had never before spoken to Jessica with such serious and solemn words. And Jessica was surprised to realize just how strong the determination was that dwelt within her usually weak and clumsy friend.
カノン君、僕はお嬢様と新しい人生を歩みたいです。その歩みが姉さんの幸せを踏み越えていくことを意味しようとも、僕はここを引きたくない。
Kana was also doing all he could to be strong. Yes, all of them were being serious and frank, and abandoning any naivety they might have possessed. All this about the golden butterfly brooches and miracles of magic, and the trial that the demons were giving them. None of it mattered. Only one thing was being tested: whether or not they possessed the strong will to make their love come true. Jessica clenched her fists and hung her head, shaking, while biting her lower lip. She was silent, but she'll probably gain an unswearing will still before too long. She just needed a little time first. The two demons who taunted people with dramatic gestures did not violate the silence that Jessica needed to resolve herself. Love brings about conflict, and this conflict gives rise to determination. As the demons of love, they can understand more fully than any others how noble determination was.
ジェシカさん。そしてその魔法の奇跡はそなたであっても享受できるものであるぞ。私にもそれはどういう。
She had thought this had been about two pairs of lovers. Bethel was surprised to suddenly hear that this had something to do with her as well.
黄金蝶のブローチの奇跡はそなたの願い。バトラへの行為を認められたいという願いさえも叶えることはたやすい。そして その奇跡なくして結ばれることもまたない。
君も蚊帳の外じゃないということさ。
愛の沼を渡りきりたい。あなたの望みのはず。
僕たちは君の願いだって決してないがしろにしたりはしない。
そなたとバトラの関係とてやがてはただれ腐り落ちる。いくら楽観的なそなたであっても何かの奇跡がない限りやがてはそのような運命を迎えることをすでに理解しているはずだ。
それは。
Battle hung her head sadly. She wasn't about to let the cookie instant break her spirit. However, it would have been a massive lie to say that it hadn't hurt her. The more she tried to get close to Balor, the more she hurt him. However, she had been born in order to get close to Balor. She was like a hedgehog freezing in the cold and bunching together with others with warmth. She had approached him because of love, and had been hurt for it.
そこまで分かっているなら奇跡に託すのもまた一興というものよ。買わぬ宝くじに当たりなしとも言うでな。ゼパル、フルフル、このわらわの妹も加えよ。
ああ、もちろん。
Okay, well, this is interesting. So you're also adding like Baby Battle and Battle in the mix, or I guess more so Baby Battle and less Battle.
よろしく。もう一人のベアトリーチェ。私たちは初めからあなたも加えるつもりでいましたわ。
なぜなら僕らはゼパルとフルフル、愛を司る悪魔だから。
私も参加してもよろしいのでしょうか。
君が望むならいいんじゃないか。誰であっても僕は拒まないよ。全ての障害に勝利し、全員に僕たちを祝福させる。もちろん逆でもさ。全力の僕たちを退けて成し得た恋ならば、僕もシャノンも心の底から勝利した二人を祝福することを約束するよ。
Okay.
ね、シャノン。
はい、私たちは負けません。そして負けても心の底から祝福します。
僕も同じです。
Okay. I'm gonna keep this in mind, what you said right over here, that you're gonna celebrate the people that have not win. I'm gonna keep this in mind. What your reactions are gonna be after this, because, you know, this is important to see how they react when they win or when they lose and such.
僕は負けません。引けねえ喧嘩だってんなら買おうじゃねえかよ。私もカノン君も不先輩ってのだけはごめんだぜ。
それはそなたもだな。
はい、お父様に。いえ、バトラーさんに私を認めてもらえる可能性がわずか。私もそれに自らをかけたいと思います。
Okay, good.
よくぞ言った。それでこそ我が妹。ゼパル、フルフル、役者は揃ったぞ。
それでは始めようか、フルフル。
Alright, let's begin the test right over here.
始めましょう、ゼパル。
たった一つの魔法の奇跡をめぐっての愛し合う者たちの試練を。
Erika had returned to the room that had been given to her on the second floor of the guest house. The next room over was empty. It was very quiet there. Okay. Going back to Erika here. You know, I was thinking about Erika for a while in my spare time. About what happened last time with her and Maria. Again, I do believe that there is no surprise in saying that Erika she was hurt in the past. That little bit of hint at the end of episode 5 gave me the impression that whatever it was that happened in Erika's past, it hurt her when it comes to magic and love and such. So it made me think back on what happened with Maria and how adamant Erika is in destroying the magic and that sort of stuff. It can very well be that Erika is well fond of destroying the magic, to destroy the illusion, and whatever it is that she sees in front of her that is of magical love type, it is because, well, how do you get rid of the pain of the past? By destroying it. It could very well be that whatever happened in Erika's past was of a magical, slash loving type. And when she sees something similar in front of her, like Maria's illusion and such, she would be hurt by it. And what does she do? She tries to destroy it, so that she will no longer have to experience that sort of thing. So I did say that it was something of a pride thing going on, and it can still very well be. But there's also that aspect that I'm thinking of when it comes to Erika, so... Even pressing her ear against the wall wouldn't enable her to listen in on the voices in the cousin's room. Really? Even with hearing power boosted by the detective's authority, it would probably be impossible to make out anything. And this room was the farthest down the hall, a long ways away from the cousin's room. Ah, okay. I mean, okay, it makes logical sense, but given what happened in episode 5, I guess I really should stop thinking logically when it comes to how the detective authority works and such. You know, that whole thing with how she examined outside the mansion, thus it was considered proof. And I said, well, how can you have examined the entirety of the outside room, like outside of the mansion? Like, have you examined the island with your X-rays and something like that? But I probably should not think of it like that. I should think of it in a different way, which at this point I still don't fully grasp how to analyze it like that. I have to analyze it like narratively speaking, like how the detective authority is used by an author and such. So it is something to think about.
前回は私の部屋はいとこ部屋の隣だったのに。なるほど。今回は私の部屋を遠ざけてきましたか。ゲームマスター権限で許された範囲の初期配置の変更です。
Yeah, for example, right over here. If this isn't about it being a logical thing in the sense that she was put in a different room. I mean, it's also that, but it is because of the game master's permission right over here. The game master forced Erika to be put in a different room, which makes her detective authority a little bit weaker when it comes to hearing other people in that room. So it is the game master's rule over here that doesn't enable Erika to listen on that room. It's not necessarily about the logic thing.
妥当な処定かと。まあその方が私もいいです。あのクソガキどものトランプで遊ぶ黄色い声なんて聞きたくもありませんから。
I mean, it is the writer's decision to do it like this. I mean, how much power does a detective have? The detective that is created by the writer. Except, well, Erika is not created by Battler, but still, the writer now has a lot more power in this game than Erika, so Erika has to be a little bit more careful and just be a little smarter when it comes to solving what is happening in this game and, you know, do her thing. And this whole time, Erika had been sitting at the desk working at something. She was preparing some of those duct tape seals from before. She had asked Kumasawa for the stickiest tape available. Stickiest tape from Kumasawa. She drew a complicated, unforgeable signature on it with a permanent marker, then added slits through it. By sticking this over a place that she wanted to prove had remained closed, she could create a powerful seal equal in strength to the Red Truth. Those menacing seals had cornered Nazis so thoroughly in the previous game. Oh.
これいかがしましたか？やられました。バトラめ、周到ですね。
What do you mean? Erika shrugged and showed the piece of duct tape she had cut off to Deleanor. By sight alone, Deleanor couldn't tell what had annoyed Erika. However, as soon as she held the tape, she realized the difference right away. Uh-oh. Here, is it that you cannot cut it?
これではダメです。ええ、粘着力ほとんどないです。
Oh. It's not sticky at all.
これじゃ赤き真実には至れない。
Even duct tape can be of low quality. And sometimes gets weaker with age. Yeah, I mean, there is something to that. You need the stickiest duct tape, otherwise it's gonna fall by itself. Yours is not sticky at all, so yeah. The tape Kumasawa had found was a bit weak even for normal use. It wasn't nearly sticky enough to be used as a detective seal.
きれいに剥がすことが可能です。これでは封印を示す証拠にはなり得ません。バトラもそこまで見下げ果てたほど無能じゃないってことですね。おそらくゲームマスター権限でこの島のすべてのガムテープに干渉したんでしょう。
Yeah, true. Letting Erika get her hands on duct tape gave her a fatal weapon to use against witches. The previous game had proven its fact. However, if I am to think of it this way, like, okay, like helping Erika a little bit right over here. Battler chose specifically to make the duct tape less sticky. They are not as sticky as Erika wants them to be. However, Battler could have chosen to not have duct tape at all on the island. I mean, I assume that Battler has that kind of power to remove objects as such. Or maybe he doesn't. Maybe it's one of those, there is a rule where it says that, oh, you cannot remove objects, but you can change them. So, unless there is a rule like that, Battler could have chosen to just remove duct tapes like entirely. The fact that the duct tapes are still here, but they are less sticky, Maybe you, Erika, could use the duct tape in some other way. Even if you cannot use them as seals, you could use them as something else. In which case, is it possible that Beller wanted you to get these duct tapes to use them in a specific way on purpose, maybe? In which case, you would have to be careful about that. About how you use your duct tape in whatever means you're gonna use them. Because Beller could be thinking ahead. He could be thinking that he could be thinking of your next move with your duct tape, and he's gonna be able to predict that. And so Beller had removed that weapon from the entire mansion.
おそらくガムテープに代わる品もすべて干渉を受けているに違いないです。
ですね。ま、良かったことにしておきます。おかげでこの冷たい雨の中、みっともない姿で外壁を這い回らなくて済みますから。
Erika tossed the duct tape aside and flopped spread-eagled onto the bed.
事件が起こるのをパイプ吹かして悠然と待つのも探偵のたしなみですし、あんたもどうせ第一の番が発覚するまで出番ないんですから、どこかに姿消して一服でもしてたらどうですか？私の顔なんか見てても疲れるだけでしょうし。
タバコは吸わないです。
Yeah, me neither.
子供ですので。
And I'm a skeleton. I mean, I don't even have lungs to begin with to smoke. Yo!
そうですか。私は吸いたいです。喫煙者たちが歌うほどの気分を爽快にさせる効果があるならの話ですが。
ご機嫌が優れられないようです。
そう見えます？
Erika answered lazily, still looking up at the ceiling. And that in itself was half an answer. The silence between the two was filled by the sound of the wind and rain. And it was so quiet, and it was hard not to listen to the ticking of the clock.
エリカ卿、お尋ねしてもよろしいですか？
内容によります。多分ノーですが。一応暇つぶしに聞いてあげます。何です？
Erika was probably bored as well. Or maybe the sound of the rain was making her sentimental. She assented, which was very unlike her.
なぜエリカ卿は魔法を嫌われるのです。
Asking the big questions, eh, Delano?
ああ、さっきの下のマリアとのやりとりの件ですか？
あんなの子供騙しのくだらない手品です。誰だってわかっています。ああまでして幻想を打ち砕く必要があったのですか？私にはわからないです。
Yeah, it'd been a childish fight. Erika didn't need Delano to tell her that.
自称知的蹂躙者としましては、魔法なんてもので真実をうやむやにすることが許せないわけです。
それを暴くことに優越を感じられているということですか？私には他の感情が感じられます。
他の感情？何です？
優越というよりは、もっと何か別の負の感情を感じます。
はっ、やっぱりあんたはただの殺人人形です。その目も節穴みたいですね。
失礼しました。許してほしいです。
Erika rolled over grumpily, turning her back to Delano. Because of this, Delano couldn't see her expression. Even so, for some reason, she could guess that this completely unobserved expression was one of pain. Interpreting this to mean that Erika wanted her to go away, Delano gave a bow and made to leave. Then, Erika suddenly spoke. The words came so far out of the blue that Delano doubted her ears. She had to ask Erika to say it again.
今何とおっしゃいましたか？
Hmm?
あなたのことが好きです。
It really was out of the blue. Delano wanted to ascertain what Erika really meant. But the letter still had her back turned, and her face was out of sight.
ありがとうございます。
以前は別の子と付き合っていましたが、今は完全に切れています。
A girl?
周りの人たちは僕たちを妬んでありもしないことを言いますが、気にしないでください。俺は君に生涯のすべてを捧げるから、君も俺にすべてを捧げてほしい。二人で一緒に幸せになろう。
Delano avoided asking what she was talking about and stood there in silence. Yeah, this just comes out of nowhere. For a while, Erika kept on speaking in that dull and emotionless tone, repeating soppy phrases that might have popped up in some shoujo manga. Then, unexpectedly, she once again followed up with a complete non-sequitur.
新しい財布。
ん？
Of course, she had no idea what Erika was saying. However, with her back still to Delano, Erika kept on saying disconnected words. Oh, hold on a second. Maybe she's not really talking to Delano specifically. Rather, maybe she's reflecting on some stuff. Maybe this is some dialogue that happened like a long time ago.
変な猫のキーホルダー。趣味の合わないアロマオイル。演劇の先輩に借りたという趣味違いの音楽テープ。
A music tape.
先輩の付き合いで断れなくて、急にバイトが入っちゃって、ダチの電話が長くてなかなか切れなくって。
He made too much curry. He started going to theater practice more often. He started folding paper towels differently. Thanks, I've already eaten. He knew more than before about cosmetics. Sorry, I was sleeping. The toilet seat was left down. He spent the night over at his stage friend's place. Me and my acting friends had a party here. Someone just left it behind. The drain and sink were cleaned out. There were receipts and point cards from places he didn't usually go. The money soles are evidence that you went out on Monday when it was raining. It matches the strange symbol on the calendar. None of your future friends have hair this long. Leading questions. How do you know the plot of a movie you haven't seen yet? Evidence, circumstantial evidence, observation, surveillance, tracking, tailing, information gathering, wiretapping, asking around, questioning. I found plenty of evidence that I loved you. I found plenty of evidence that you loved me. But I cannot find any evidence that you haven't been cheating. Give it a rest. If you love me, then trust me. If you cannot do that, then you don't love me anymore. How could I love someone like that? I'll treasure you for all my life, but I want to do well in theater just as much. You said you liked seeing me act, right? So why are you telling me to stop acting now? Why do I have to choose between you and acting? What's wrong with you? Seriously tired of this, alright? Look, if all we do is fight when we see each other, maybe we both need some time to cool off, okay? I need to concentrate for my next performance anyway. One of my colleagues, she suddenly told us she won't be able to perform. I need to rewrite the script by tomorrow. I don't have the time for this. You know what? If you really find it that hard to trust me, we're through. Don't bother coming over again. Just go home. I don't love you anymore. Stop crying. God, you're so obnoxious. Go kill yourself. Creep. Stop shouting, damn it. I got neighbors. Just get the hell away from me and never come back.
愛がなければ見えない？逆なんですよ。愛なんかあるから、ありもしないものが見えてしまう。
It's nothing more than an illusion. One that no one except you can see. One that even you can never touch. Well, love, humans would never need to see that fiction. Because we can see it. We doubt. We suffer. We cry out loud.
私は今幸せです。仮とはいえ真実の魔女になれて、今の私はもう赤くない言葉に苦しめられなくて済むのだから。